Okay. All right. This is part two of paper A of the 2021 that we were doing before. And we're going to continue on it. There's some things that we had left off that we need to put on it. All right. For example, in the scope, we needed to put what the project will not include. And on this project, we could say the project will not include uh, maintenance of the system, the maintenance of the system will not include maintenance of the system, uh, training staff. Did it say training staff anywhere? No. So training, training staff, uh, to use software. Uh, we are not going to do upgrades in the software. Okay, and when you're doing this section, all you have to think about is the software development life cycle. Remember, when you after you've implemented a system in the software development life cycle, you would do maintenance, right? And you would, within that section, you would probably do some training of staff. You would upgrade the software after a couple of years, all of that. So just think about the software development life cycle that you've done in your programming classes. All right. So that's it for, I'm going to leave scope at that for the moment. All right, we're going to leave. Everything seems to be in place so far. What else didn't we do? All right, the business case. Did we write the business case in the previous? I think, okay, no, these are the ones that we did not complete, these in red. All right, for the time, right? We're going to get when we're doing the purpose of a project, for the time, we're going to get this from the Gantt chart, right? The project start date. The No, we don't. We're going to get it from a set task brief, not the Gantt chart. So the project should start or is expected to start on the 1st of February 2021, right? With a completion date of the 2nd of April 2021, of which time a handover will take place. So at this time, handover will take place, and that would be on the 2nd of April 2021. right, will take place. Stress testing, regression testing will take place to ensure the system will perform properly. So we have to say that. And we are going to use function points analysis, right? So we're going to use a function point analysis. We're going to use functional point analysis. Functional point analysis that we have on our set task brief to estimate, to do an estimate for the develop an estimate for each task on the project and also for each staff member. And a calculation of the work hours will be determined from the estimated functions. That's what we did on the Excel sheet. So we're telling what we did on the Excel sheet, how we did it, right? To get the work hours. This analysis was prepared beforehand, and as a project manager, I completed the calculation. We did all of this section on the Excel sheet. So we're going to tell them that we did that, right? The analysis is as follows. The junior network engineer needs 6 hours per general functional points. And then we're going to just copy and paste all of these from when we get it over, sorry, when we go over here, we just do this. We just copy and paste all of this to complete what we have said about the function points. We just copy, don't copy the rate of pay because that's not a part of it, just the function point areas, right? To talk about the function points that we have calculated. And that's what we put for this section. All right, let me just get rid of this. Right, and then we're going to, we talk about the time function points. So let's separate these, right? So time taken, so the time taken, and then we talk about the time taken. Let me change our color here. Let me change it back so you can see it properly. And then this one, we separate it a bit. Then we go down together, and then we do this. All right, so completion of each task. So this will aid in the efficient completion of each task. All right, so that's what we did for here. And we just write about it just for men to let them know that we understand what we're doing. Then the materials, right? The new system will require, right? Materials. All right, so I'm going to remove this. And I'm going to, this I've taken from the material that we've already done up here. So no, we did a material somewhere else. Oh, so right here, without the price, we talk about the material. So the system will require smart cameras, outdoor locks, all of that. So we talk about all of the things that the system will have. The system will require materials such as, to make it easier for you, material such as, and then we list them. Then we list them, right? Which will be purchased from suppliers who will deliver these material in order for the configuration and installation to take place. And that's how we do that one. All right, and this is the material section that we talk about. All right, so all of this can be, you can get all of this from the set task brief. No, the other things that were missing were responsibilities. right? So we talk about the responsibilities. So we start with Miss Payton, that she's setting the aims and the objective, uh, ensuring the project, ensuring the project will be done within high standards, will be, ensuring the project will be of high standards, will be of high standards and within the company's policies. So we can use that for her responsibility. And then the project manager. This is the job of a project manager. Define the project's objective, creating Gantt chart, establish project timeline, monitoring day-to-day progress, ensuring task is completed to standard, identify potential issues that would be the risk and create mitigation strategies for the risk, allocate people and tasks and finances efficiently. All right. So that would be what the project manager does. And guys, how did I get all of this that I'm writing here about the project manager? It's all on this PID. Remember, the project objectives are on the PID. Gantt is on the PID. Establish project timeline, which is a part of the Gantt chart, is on the PID. Monitoring day-to-day activity on the PID, because that's what he's going to do at the interim reviews and the milestone. Ensuring tasks are completed. That's why on the Gantt chart we have the different tasks, right? Identify potential issues. These are risk, right? Identifying potential issues which are risk early. Let me put risk in brackets here so that uh, we, we know that what they're supposed to do. Create mitigation strategies for the risk, allocate people and task and finances efficiently. And that's what it does. And then for the rest of the crew, all we have to do is just come to the set task brief and just copy and paste again. Junior software engineer will, and we just copy it right here and we paste it over on this section, and we do it for all of them. All right. So that's what we put here for uh project, for the responsibilities. And then let us go and so that's what we do for the responsibilities. Now, let us continue. Let us go down further. All right, we did materials already. Uh, we did the objectives already. We did the scope already. Business case, we did the business case before. Now, assumptions. One of my things that I do for assumption is I would go down to the last bit on the page, or anywhere they have the time and the faults and the budget regression testing. That's my first choice for assumptions, because one of the things it does say is assumed. All right. So we can use these as assumptions. So we can say that we're going to assume that at least one major fault, one minor fault, at least one major fault and 8 minor faults will be found right? during grade testing. All right, that's mine. I am going to validate it because this is not on the task yet. It's before the task. So I am assuming. So that would be me. Right? And it would be a project manager. And the comment I would put is that if I'm going to assume it, therefore I must have something in place or some other activity in place in which I can say, okay, if I assume it, therefore there's something I can do to prevent it or to rectify it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put here, right? I am going to say for fault, each fault, I will allocate 3 days of regression. So I'm going to put this, just paste it. So instead of having that, we just do, sorry, command E, for each fault, there will be a further 3 days of regression testing. Or you could say that testing will be done, or you could put frequent testing will be done to alleviate faults. Be done to alleviate faults. Or, this is an or. So it's one or the other. Or frequent testing can be done to alleviate faults. All right. So we have, remember, it's an assumption. And what are we going to do to rectify the assumption, that assumption that we have? Okay, the other things we could do now is we could an allocation of a budget of 125,000 pounds. So we have a budget was allocated. No, it would be a budget of 125,000 pounds. All right, so we assume there's an assumption that there will be a budget of 125,000 pounds, right? So, and that, who would have done that? That would be not us because ours would be the estimated cost. So that would be Miss Payton, right? So that would be Miss Payton. So, Miss Payton. All right, so that would be Miss Payton. And she would be the sponsor or the managing director. Okay. So we could say that, yeah, because it's already agreed on. So it's agreed on with the client. All right. So we've already agreed on this. All right. So it's assumed that the project will need that budget of 125,000. The other one is we're going to look at this that, all right, this is, we can calculate the months here. So between February 1st to April 2nd, 8 weeks or 9 weeks. We're going to assume that the project is going to take 9 weeks. The project will be completed in weeks. All right. And this also is Miss Payton because she came up with that number. All right. And she's the managing director. All right. And it's agreed with the client. Okay. So it's agreed with the client because it's already confirmed with the client, right? All of these are confirmed, but they're assumptions because we don't know if it's going to exceed the number of weeks will be exceeded until we have done the Gantt chart, until the project has been started and completed. We don't know that if that budget is the right amount, we don't know if that's the right amount of money for the project. So it's an assumption. All right. The other one that we could look at is this one up here. It is estimated that staff will work 5 days a week. So staff would work 5 days a week and 7.5 hours a day. So now remember, you worked out the function points. If they had said that somebody else did it, like the finance directors, then that person would be responsible for it. But you worked out the function points. So, so I would be, and I would be project manager, right? Therefore, staff would work 5 days a week, 7 days uh, all right. So now, because you've already worked out the function points and you've allocated the date and the time and the duration to task and also to your staff, you're going to say that uh task has already been scheduled. Oh no, all staff has been allocated to their EGIR, their task. And that's it. You've assumed it, then you've allocated the staff to it. All right. The other thing is, all right, so we have no, we have 2 slots left. You can get assumptions from other places. Let us go to the top, right? So we can look at this section. She feels the new system will, because it's a feeling, it's an assumption. She's feeling that the system will, right? So provide 30% efficiency on utility bill. All right. So what are we going to put for that? So we're going to do the system will provide the new system will provide, sorry, will minimize. Let's do security risk. The new system will minimize security risk, Control C. And so if it's going to minimize security risk, that would be Miss Payton, because that's what she feels. Right? And she is the managing director. Right? No, she feels that it will minimize security risk. So we have to think in terms of security. We have to think in terms of security, right? So you could say that, look at this. Staff will be trained to use new equipment, right? So you could say staff trained to use equipment, right? Such as cameras for monitoring. Right? It's right there on the PID. If you look, it's right there on the PID. Right? And that's what we're using. Also, we could say this. We're going to assume that it's going to reduce carbon footprint. System will reduce carbon footprint. All right, and that is also Miss Payton. And she's the managing director. And if you look at it, all right, how do we reduce carbon footprint? By automating the environmental control. So by automating, okay, so we're going to say this. Automated environmental control will be used to monitor the system smart devices. All right, and that's assumption done. Notice what I'm doing. I'm going for the assumption and I'm saying what is being done to ensure that these to confirm the assumption, to ensure that to say, okay, that's an assumption. What am I doing to ensure that the assumption is not going to create an issue or it will work? That's what I'm saying. So let's look now at constraints. And remember, constraints, if we think about the iron triangle, where it's cost, scope, and so we have in the it's for the iron triangle, it's going to be cost, time, and scope, sorry. So we need to look at, first of all, we can take it from anywhere there's a scope. Let us look at our Gantt chart, for example, right? Notice we've used the cost up here. We've used some of the time also, right? We can still use those, but it's a comment that's going to work. But let us look at our Gantt chart with the task, because this pretty interesting. Let us look at this. All right. So notice our Gantt chart. At some point or another, we have what is called predecessors, meaning each task might be linked to another task. These would be your, hold on, I hid the predecessors, so I'm going to insert predecessor column. So let's get our predecessors back. Okay, okay. So if you notice 4 here, the task at 4 is linked to 3. The task at 5 is linked to 4. The task at 7 is linked to 5. The task at 5. And this is what it's saying over here where it's linked. Now, let us think about it, right? Now, task 1 can be a constraint to task 3, which is create a customized app and interface, can be a constraint to task 4, which is setting up backup end for customized app, which can be a constraint for configuring security protocols. So reason being, it can impact it because it's a predecessor for these tasks. All right, so I'm going to look back up. Let's look up back. Let's open the sheet. And let's look at the task that we're going to do. So let us look at creating customized app interface, yeah? And we are going to paste it, copy and paste, right? And validated by, right? It would be whoever is working on it or their superior. And who is working on this? Let's see who is working on it. It would be app developers, right? So who is responsible for the app developers? So who is responsible for the app developers? So that would be, let's go here, the structure chart. App developers would be, okay, so this guy, Ahmed Ifkar. All right, so we're going to put him there. And his status is senior software engineer. All right. And what would be your comment? Right? So this would be a constraint, and we're going to think about what it would impact. So creating customized app. If if this becomes a constraint to the project, then it's going to affect uh setting back end for customized apps. So it's going to affect setting back end. Let's see how far it goes because it might affect the whole project. Yes, it's going to affect because it would be so you'd say this would be a critical task. This is a critical task. Therefore, it would affect the handover of the project. And that's what it does. It's going to impact the handover of a project because it is connected to almost everything going towards the end of the project. If you look at it, it starts here, then it connects to here, then it connects to this one, which connects to here, then it connects to here, and that goes to the end of the project. So it would affect the entire project. Okay, other things that might be an impact would be this one here. Installation of network infrastructure. Right? And this would be Mr. Let's go to the project structure. Senior engineer, Sam Mandele. Mandele, sorry. And he is senior network engineer. All right. And if we look back at the Gantt chart, we look back at it, it's best to use the predecessors though. So this is at 8, it's connected to 9, it's connected to 10, 10 is connected to 9, 10 is also connected to 14, 14 is connected to 16, all right? And that's where we're at. So it would affect 16. All right, so we'll stop because it's a regression testing. So it would affect testing. This would affect so this is a critical task. Therefore, it will affect all previous results. To testing. All right, so it's going to affect all the predecessors up to testing. Or you could just say it's going to affect hardware installation. Or well, let me put a slash or instead of or. Affects the hardware installation. Hardware affects the hardware installation stage and hardware testing phase. All right. So that's the other one. All right. There can be others, but let's say we're going to use the others that we could go back to use some from the assumption. I don't recommend it, but if that's what you have to do, you will have to do it in the exam. So let's go back down here, right? And we're going to look at, we could even use this, installation of camera will affect security. So let's say we use installation of camera and sensors. So this is whoever is installing it, or we could use the senior Sam Medel again, because this is a scope. All right. This will cause a security risk. All right. So we can get constraints from anywhere, right? Uh, Not testing software. That can be a constraint. Or let's say software testing. Let's say we have software testing. And this would be by Mr. Ifka again. Or in some of these cases, it can be you because if it's not completed yet, it can be because you're the project manager, so you can go on it. All right. This guy is a senior software. Okay. So if we don't test the software, right? There, okay. We don't test it. It can impact it by having bugs. So software may not work due to bugs. All right. Now we can go, I will go back down here where we can get this. All right. So let us say we're going to assume that we're going to say that staff would work. Let's say that we're looking at constraints. Staff is off sick, or we can use staff is off sick, or we can use, let me read through. Project must be, okay, let me do this. Project must be completed by project must be completed by, let's say we say must be completed by that. By completed by the 2nd of April. And that would be managing director. Ms. Payton. And she would be managing director. All right. And put your months to complete. Okay. So what will it impact? If it's not completed, let's say it's exceeding. So this may cause scope creep. It can cause, all right, so it's going to impact the scope and also the budget. So this may cause the budget to be exceeded due to increased time. All right. Must be completed by that time. And other constraints that we can find. Configuring security protocol. We do that. Installing network infrastructure. Stress testing. All right, setting up backend for customized app. We set up backend so that there's a connection, so that the backend would be the section of the app that does most of the work, basically. Right? So we are looking at the interface, and the backend would be what is done, right? But let's not use that. Let's go to here where we have the junior network engineer. All right. Or senior network, deploying configuration of that software testing. So let's say senior software engineer becomes ill. So let's say the senior software engineer becomes ill. That could be one of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to show you how to get it from everywhere on the paper, on the set task brief. That's a thing I am trying to do right now. So you can, when you're in the exam, you don't have to hesitate. You can just go anywhere and get it. So let us look at this. Software engineer becomes ill. And if you look at what the software engineer does is, and you would be the one validating this. So it's going to be, and project manager, and look at what's going to happen. This will affect the deploying and configuration of the cloud server. So you could say this will impact the, I just copy and paste it, deploying and configuration of cloud service, and also software testing. So look at what happened. Everything we do is from the set task brief. So you can use that method when you're going to the exam. And what you should do is practice before the exam so you know what you need to do and what you need to put on your paper so that you can get the maximum marks for each section. All right, risk. All right, let's just fill in the deliverables first, and then we get back to risk. Fill in the deliverables, then we get back to risk. So our deliverables. So it's at the top here. Let's look at a system that will use that. So what are we going to get? Customized data app interface. So these would be our deliverables. Automated environmental control. A customized app, smartphone app, because all the tasks, this is what they're working on. So we're going to get automated environmental control. Let's just copy and paste them over for the deliverables. Uh, okay, so those would be your deliverables, right? And what would be the components of the deliverables? So it's between the materials and other stuff, all right? So automated environmental control, the component of this would be a software, right? For customized soft app would be software, right? Because we're actually creating it. And this one here, this will be new custom database interface. This is still software because it's an interface. New equipment for training staff. So now this is where you go to find it. The new equipment for training staff. So we have smartphones. That should be a part of the equipment because what else do we need here? We'll probably need hardware, which includes the cameras and all of that. Uh, okay. Deployment and configuration of cloud server. This would be database. For collecting smart systems data. And the installation of network infrastructure. You'd have cables, Wi-Fi point. Okay, so for the new equipment and training for staff, smartphone. So all of these would go here because these are new equipment. All right, so we just stuck all of those there. All right, so now it wants the description. The description would be what its purpose is. So automated environmental control, and it's up here. Right? So you want an automated environmental control. So what it will do is this. improve the well-being of a staff through better office environment. And we are going to say it's an AI so it's an artificial in that track monitor that build data. So, so it would be an AI that improves. That's what it is, automated environmental control. All right. A smartphone custom app for the smartphone. Okay. We can use the smartphone to help to minimize security risk. So minimize security. We can use it to minimize the security risk. Security risk with the cameras. Mm, by linking to cameras, by linking to cameras, mm, linking to security cameras. Okay. And then this one, new equipment. All right, so we need a new equipment so we can, this new equipment is used, consists of smart devices that will be used to improve efficiency. So the new equipment should, the new equipment will provide this. Saving on bills, right? And they also will track all right? And then deployment of and configuration of cloud server. So database so that it will track and building data over time so that it can fit. So it will be storing data that has been tracked over time. So we're going to put storing data that has been tracked over time. If we can adjust the change. Okay. Installation of network infrastructure. use to connect all hardware. Or maybe I should separate this because the staff remember the staff training program. We have also training materials here for staff. We have training material for staff. And this ensures staff can use material effectively. Your staff can use new system effectively and efficiently. All right. So basically, that's what we are going to put for the deliverables. All right. So, all right. So we're at stakeholders. So first one we're going to put would be Miss Payton. So we're going to put Miss Payton, and her responsibility as a sponsor is to define the project goal and success criteria. So we're going to do, she has to also approve the budget and timeline. And as if you check in the other section, we have already written these, right? But in a different form. So the whole project, you can just go over your page to see what you have written and then try to put it together here. All right. She also needs to validate the validate deliverables. All right. So that's Miss Peter. And then we come to you or me, who is a project manager. All right. And the project manager plans, monitors, and controls a project. So I am going to plan, monitor, and control the project. right? Then I also will have to manage my team and resources. And resources. I also have to ensure also have to ensure delivery within scope, ensure within the scope, time, and budget. That's an iron triangle. All right. Also, the other guys that well that are here. Hold on, where is it? It's right here. Right? So Ahmed Aftika, who would be responsible for, and this is where our Gantt chart comes into play. So now let's hide these. Okay, so now I'm going to look for Ahmed. Ahmed is responsible for deploying that one. Uh, what else is he responsible for? Testing software regression. So he's responsible for testing software regression. I'm just going to put him there. The testing for software faults and regression. So he's responsible for that. Where else is he? That's basically it so far for him. All right, and the next guy I am going to look at would be Sam Mendele. And Sam, where is Sam? Installation of network infrastructure. Installing camera. Is he anywhere else? No, that's where he is. So that's his job. And that's Sam Mendele. So that's Sam Mendele. And then we're going to look at the junior software engineer. And then we're going to say, we're going to add all of these guys. And basically what we do is just copy their jobs from the Gantt chart. Let's put some more insert. So we need, that's two. We need four more. Insert rows below. All right, so that's Bobby. We need Jack. We need Jessica. We need, you know, all right, so we need all of these guys. So Bobby, we go back to here and we're going to look at what Bobby is doing. So Bobby and Harry are working on customize that. They're also working on, okay, so they're working on configuring that, Control C, and then they're both working on that. Okay. All right. So now we have what Harry Smith does. Now we need Jack Alderdies, which would be stress testing. What else does he do? He does software testing. Okay, so he does software testing. That's it for him. Now, Jessica Wood. All three of these guys do the same thing. So that's installation, Control C. They also do hardware testing. They also do hardware regression, Control V. I did not see this. Jack Alderman also tests for regression. Okay, good. Okay, let's see. Okay, good. All right, so let's get rid of these function points here. All right, so that's what they do. See, so 1, 2, and testing for hardware regression. Hardware testing. Okay, good. So that's what they do. So now I'm just going to copy and paste all of these to here. All right, good. All right, so now the next bit is going to be project management team organization, and look at what we do. For this one, all we have to do is just copy this over. So we just copy it and just paste it. All right, that's all we do. We have it. Then we have the communication plan, which should be very easy because what we could do is just say how we're going to communicate with each stakeholder. Uh, we're going to communicate with Miss Panton, first of all, or Miss Payton. And the frequency is going to be bi-weekly, or we could say every 2 weeks, or bi-weekly if you want to say it that way, right? So this could be in the form of a formal email. Uh, updates and milestone or interim review milestone reports. We say milestone reports from the interim reviews. Okay, purpose to inform client of progress, budget status, and any risk or changes. So we're going to inform client on budget, budget, sorry. First, we're going to inform the client on the progress, right? Budget, status, risk, or changes. All right. Then we're going to communicate with uh, these guys. All right. So that would be weekly. And this would be done through weekly project meetings. Weekly project meetings, or as necessary. As necessary. Are we going to communicate face to face? We're going to do face to face. We can do emails also. All right. And this is to review phase progress. Review phase progress. What is approve resource allocation. Approve resource allocation. What did we do up there? We did assumptions, we did constraints, we did risk. So we can talk to them about any of those. So we could validate our assumptions. All right. So that's what the meeting is for that person. And that would be uh Also, we can to track software progress, track app interface progress. See, I'm getting it from the set task brief. Right? So these are the things that we can do. App interface progress, app integration progress. That's what we are going to meet with this guy for. So can be anything, app integration, app right? Anything that's on the set task brief that comes under this guy. Then the other one would be Sam Mandela. So Sam Mandela. Sam Mandela. And we would meet with Sam. Oh, sorry. Forgot this guy's working daily. So this would be weekly. It would be daily. This would be daily, sorry. So that would be daily. And it would be daily stand-ups, not weekly, because he's there working. So that would be daily stand-ups. Phone calls, messages, phone calls, messages. And this would be to track the app progress. Sorry about that, because this is the app guy, huh? So that would be to track the app progress. Okay. Progress, app interface progress. Also the integration. The customized app. Of the back end. With the customized app. Customized app interface. And we can look at the this thing here and see what else. Security protocol. security protocols. That's what he's working on. And also deploying of cloud. Because he is the senior software engineer, it's best to go through him because he has to track the workers. All right. All right. And the other things that he's responsible for, you can put them on here. All right. And then for Mr. Samandele, you would be contacting him the same thing. Daily messages. You do him daily. And he's responsible for to track progress of this one interface. On the installation. Infrastructure. Infrastructure. Camera installation. Okay, so we can do that for him. Then now we're going to look at the different guys. For example, app developer, junior software engineer, right? We're going to look at them and so we're going to say uh, app developer and so we're going to do for them, you're going to do weekly, right? And it would be about uh staff assignments. So the type would be huddles, and about task assignments. No, this would be huddles, all right? And it would be about task assignment. And issues that arise right? And it's going to be basically the same for everybody else. All right, so that's basically it for what? Okay. What we're missing now is risk. All right, I'm just going to fill just a few sections out, but risk, you can get risk from anywhere on the set task brief, right? All you have to do is just try to understand what you're looking for, what would be a risk, and how you would mitigate it. So the risk, one of the most used risk is staff being sick, right? What's the probability of that happening? I would give it like a 1/5, right? The impact it may have would be a 2/5. And then the severity would be 1 times 2, which is 2, right? And 5 times 5 is 25. So we would have a low severity. And our contingency plan would be to allow collaboration within the team. So I'd say allow the team so they will do all right. The other one now, staff being sick. So we have staff being sick, we did that. All right. Another risk that we could have. Let us say we're going to integrate the backend. Let's look at, I'm going to look at this paper. Risk. Let's look at a task. let us say customized app has bugs because we're creating an app. So we're going to say customized app has bugs, right? Chance of that happening is, I'm going to say 1 because I think I'm a good project manager and I pick the best team. All right. And the impact on this would be probably 4, right? Because if we have bugs, we're going to have issues with the project. So 1 times 4 is going to be 4, right? And 5 times 5 is 25, right? Still low, right? And what do I do? Uh, for my contingency plan, I am going to ensure testing is scheduled throughout the project. And let me not just say testing, regular testing. All right. So that's 1. What else are we doing here? Uh, Another famous one is, uh, let's say hardware did not arrive on time. All right. What's the chance of that happening? Let's say 2, because I ordered from a guy that I really didn't know too much. It was just recommended. All right. And let's say the impact, it's going to be high because if the hardware is not there, we can't do the project. So let's say another 4 out of 5. Two, 2 4s is 8 slash 25, right? Still low, right? And what I'm going to do, I am either going to have another supplier on standby or order the equipment way in advance. So my thing is, I'd rather order equipment 6 months in advance. All right. All right. Now, so we have those. So we can get more from here. For example, customized app stress testing. Okay, so we have those. Budget. Let's say that we have a risk of exceeding the budget. Okay. Budget of, how much is it? 125,000 pounds. I could put exceed budget, exceed budget. £125. All right, what's the chance of that happening? One, because I'm a careful spender. And I'm going to put this as 2 of 5 as the impact. So I'm going to get 2/25, which is low. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a contingency fund, have contingency ready if needed. All right, so we have those for that for risk. So this app is going to also need a database, right? Okay, hold on. So let's go here and look for the app. Let's go to the top. Yes, it's going to need to be accessing a database. So you could say the app won't connect to the database. So that would be so if the app can connect to the database, then we're going to have, oh, it says custom database interface. So we have a custom database interface. So, okay. Let's not use that one. Let's use the custom database. Let's use one that we can. All right. What about the major minor faults? We can use those again. What if the number of major and minor faults, number of major and minor faults put project over budget? All right. What are the chances that will happen? Let's say it's a 1. Or let's say it's a 3/5. And then we have impact would not be that bad. And it would be 6/25, which means it's low. All right. And all we have to do to prevent this is what we did on the Gantt chart. Add extra workers increase the number of team members. So we're going to do add extra workers to do regression testing. Getting a bit tired and my typing is going overboard. And then there's another one that we need to put here. Just put another one and that's it. All right. So we need a backup system. Let's say we have, let's go back to the task. Track equipment was done. All right. So retesting. All right. Sensors. Okay, it's a heat map where they custom of smartphone database. So hold on, let's look at, we should look at the materials because we can get some from there. So we could say smart lighting don't work. Or smart locks don't work. So if we do smart lighting, Control C, is not responding to automation. So what we could do is just increase testing, hardware testing. All right, increase hardware testing. All right, so that's what we have for now. We have just completed the entire PID. And guys, it's not limited to what I am doing here. If you understand, read thoroughly and try to understand the different sections, right? You should be able to do this within probably about 2 hours. But you have to practice, you have to read through, you have to gain an understanding. All right? Know the difference between the assumption, the risk, and the constraints, right? Let me go over the risk, the assumption, risk, and constraint again. All right, for the assumption, right? Whatever you're going to put there, you're going to assume that whatever you're going to write will happen. Yes? But what did you do to ensure, or if it's a fault, alleviate the fault, right? That's for the assumption. Notice when I put budget, it's agreed on, confirmed. It's all confirmed. Staff will be trained. It's all confirmed what I'm doing with the assumptions. With the constraints, it would be whatever you're putting in a constraint, what will it impact? And how will it impact it? Right? So create a customized app. I go to the Gantt chart and look at creating customized app, and I see that it's a part of a critical task. So I look at it and I say, okay, it's going to affect all of that, all the other tasks until right handover at the end. So it's going to affect that. So that's how you look at it. Installation of network infrastructure. Right? What will it affect? Installing cameras, what will that affect? Right? Then risk management. When you put a risk down, you should have a contingency plan. What other means do you have to mitigate this problem or this issue? And that's how you work it for the aim for the risk. All right, the deliverables are at the top of the aim, the set task brief, and that's one of the easier ones. All right, guys. So this is the end of part 2 for paper APID. It might take a bit of time for me to be doing it because I have to be explaining while writing. But I guarantee you, once you go in the exam prepared with this, you should be able to do this within at least 2 hours and 20 minutes and have enough time to go over and double check your work. All right. Everything will be, you should at least try to do other past papers, right? So you can understand what you need to do, right? And if there's an issue, you can just put a message under the video on YouTube and let me know what you want to do or which paper you'd like to do so that you can have a better understanding of how to do the PID with this project planning and management of computer projects. All right, so that's it for now. We will continue with paper 2 next time around.